Canto 4. Circle 1. Limbo. The Virtuous Pagans. Synopsis. Dante wakes to find himself across Acheron. The poets are now on the brink of hell itself, which Dante conceives as a great funnel-shaped cave laying below the northern hemisphere, with its bottom point at the Earth's center. Around this great circular depression runs a series of ledges, each of which Dante calls a circle. Each circle is assigned to the punishment of one category of sin. As soon as Dante's strength returns, the poets begin to cross the first circle. Here they find the virtuous pagans. They were born without the light of Christ's revelation, and therefore they cannot come into the light of God. But they are not tormented. Their only pain is that they have no hope. Ahead of them, Dante sights a great dome of light, and a voice trumpets through the darkness, welcoming Virgil back, for this is the eternal place in hell. Immediately the great poets of all time appear: Homer, Horace, Ovid, and Lucian. They greet Virgil, and they make Dante a sixth in their company. With them Dante enters the citadel of human reason, and sees before his eyes the master souls of pagan antiquity gathered on the green, and illuminated by the radiance of human reason. This is the highest state man can achieve without God, and the glory of it dazzles Dante, but he knows also that it is nothing compared to the glory of God. Text. A monstrous clasp of thunder broke apart with swoon that stuffed my head like one awakened by violent hands. I leapt up with a start, and having risen, rested, and renewed, I studied out the landmarks of the gloom to find my bearings there as best I could. And I found I stood on the very brink of the valley called the Dolorous Abyss, the desolate chasm where rolls the thunder of hell's eternal cry. So depthless, deep, and nebulous and dim, that stare as I might into the frightful pit, it gave me back no feature and no bottom. Death pale, the poet spoke. Now let us go into the blind world waiting here below us. I will lead the way, and you shall follow. And I, sick with alarm at his new pallor, cried out, how can I go this way when you, who are my strength, in doubt turn pale with terror? And he, the pain of these below us here, drains the color from my face for pity, and leaves the pallor you mistake for fear. Now let us go, for long road awaits us. So he entered, and so he led me in to the first circle and ledge of the abyss. No tortured wailing rose to greet us here, but sounds of sighing rose from every side, sending a tremor through the timeless air. A grief breathed out of untormented sadness, the passing state of those who dwell apart, men, women, children, a dim and endless congress. And the Master said to me, you do not question what souls these are that suffer here before you. I wish you to know before you travel on, that these were sinless, and still their merits fail, for they lacked baptism's grace, which is the door of the true faith you were born to. Their birth fell before the age of the Christian mysteries, and so they did not worship God's Trinity in fullness duty. I am one of these. For such defects we are lost, though spared the fire and suffering hell, in one affliction only, that without hope we live on in desire. I thought how many worthy souls these were suspended in that limbo, and weight close on my heart for what the noblest sufferer. Instruct me, Master, and most noble Sir, I prayed to him, better to understand the perfect creed that conquers every error. Has any, by his own or others' merit, gone ever from place to blessedness? He sensed my inner question and answered it. I was still new to the estate of tears when the Mighty One descended here among us, crowned with a sign of his victorious years. He took from us the shade of our first parent, of Abel the pure son, of ancient Noah, of Moses the brighter of law, the obedient, Father Abraham, David the king, Israel with his father and his children, Rachel and his holy vessel of his blessing, and many more. He chose for elevation among the elect. And before these, you must know, no human soul had ever won salvation. We had not paused as he spoke, but held our road, and passed meanwhile beyond the press of souls, crowded about like trees in a thick wood. And we had not traveled far from where I woke, when I made out a radiance before us that struck away the hemisphere of dark. We were still some distance back in the long night, yet near enough that I half saw, half sensed, what quality of souls lived in the light. O ornament of wisdom and art, what soul are these, whose merit lights their way even in hell? What joy sets them apart? And he said to me, the signature of honor they left on earth is recognized in heaven, and wins them ease in hell out of God's favor. And as he spoke, a voice rang in the air, honor the Prince of Poets, the soul of glory that went from us returns. He is here, he is here. The cry ceased, and the echo passed from hearing. I saw four mighty presents come towards us with neither joy nor sorrow in their bearing. Note well, my master said as they came on, that soul that leads the rest with swords in hands, as it were the captain and the champion. It is Homer, singing master of the earth. Next after him is Horace, the satirist. Ovid is the third, and Lucian is the fourth. Since all of these have part in the high name, the voice proclaimed, calling me Prince of Poets, the honor that they do me honors them. So I saw gathering in the edge of the light the masters of the highest school, whose song outsoars all others like an eagle's flight. And after they had talked together a while, they turned and welcomed me most graciously, at which I saw my approving master smile. And they honored me far beyond courtesy, for they included me in their own number, making me sixth in their high company. So we moved towards the light, and as we passed, we spoke of things as well omitted here, as it was sweet to touch on there. At last we reached the base of the great citadel, circled by 7 towering battlements, and by a sweet brook flowing round them all. This we passed over, as it were firm ground. Through 7 gates I entered, with the sages, and came to green meadows blooming round. There were solemn and majestic pose, stood many people gathered in the light, speaking infrequently and with muted voice. Past that enameled green, we 6 withdrew into luminous and open height, from which each soul among them stood in view. And there directly before me on the green, the master souls of time were shown to me. I glory in the glory I have seen. Electra stood in a great company, among whom I saw Hector and Aeneas and Caesar in armor with his falcon's eye. I saw Camilla and Queen Amazon across the field. I saw the Latin king seated there with a daughter by his throne. And the good Brutus, who overthrew Tarquin, Lucrezia, Julia, Marcia, and Cornelia, and by himself the Saladin. And raising my eyes a little, I saw a high Aristotle, the master of those who knew, ringed by great souls of philosophy. All wait upon him for their honor and his. I saw Socrates and Plato at his side, before all others there. Democritus, who ascribed the world to chance. Diogenes, and with him there Thales, Anaxagoras, Zeno, Heraclitus, Empedocles. And I saw the wise collector and the analysis, Dicrades, the Orpheus there, truly, Linus, Seneca, the moralist, Euclid, the geometer, and Ptolemy, Hippocrates, Galen, Avicenna, and Averroes the great commentary. I cannot count so much nobility. My longer theme pursues me so that often the world fails short of the reality. The company of 6 is reduced by 4. My master leads me to another road, out of the serenity to the roar and trembling air of hell. I pass from light into the kingdom of eternal night.